Then Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get style. Then he was like, yo, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta kick it. Puff. Okay. He telling me we gotta kick it, and he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some? I mean, like I paid for it. And I was like, this just saying.
I asked 50 about that, and he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you and Fifth just...
Hey, yo.
Why y'all not...
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me.
They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
So tell us what's going on with this. We understand rapper 50 Cent has been shopping this around.
You know what? I think a lot of people thought that 50 was just trolling. And
no, this option today, I didn't talk to her.
No. Is Diddy going to go to jail? What do you think?
I think he's in trouble.
Can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find.
The feud between Diddy and 50 Cent has escalated to a boiling point. What initially started as playful jabs has now turned into an all-out public battle. The tension erupted when 50 Cent roasted Diddy during a court-related controversy. Known for his sharp wit and unapologetic humor, 50 didn't hesitate to take shots at Diddy in ways that left fans shocked. However, Diddy, never one to back down, responded in a manner that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world.
Just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bruh. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bruh, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace, it's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell. Because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, a few albums, a few people, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, Diddy's situation is because they've been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bro, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house. But he had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bruh. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean.
50 Cent has earned a reputation as one of the most fearless and relentless trolls in the entertainment industry, and his roast of Diddy was no exception. With no holds barred, 50 went all out to ridicule his rival's legal troubles. While the drama was serious, 50 transformed it into a spectacle, cracking jokes that quickly went viral. The big question on everyone's mind was clear. How would Diddy react to such public humiliation?
And where do we even begin? He has been named in 6 lawsuits. 4 of those filed so far are male accusers. And I was reading the details on the TMZ website, and wow, it's really graphic.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, Shannon, and I'll be careful explaining these things. But he's facing so many. I mean, it seems like an endless amount of fights on an endless amount of fronts right now. And these are civil lawsuits, obviously, so these are not criminal charges. But he's sitting in a jail cell in Brooklyn right now on criminal charges and facing life in prison if convicted. These lawsuits are from an attorney named Tony Busby. He's been involved in a lot of big cases in the past. Deshaun Watson, Chris Brown, Travis Scott. So he knows his way around a big case. He represents these 4 men and men now, but in one case, a 16-year-old boy who says in 1998, when he was a teenager, he went to a white party. He was invited. He found himself in an occasion to be alone with Diddy, he says, and he claims that Diddy basically, made him drop his pants and Diddy touched him and essentially called it a rite of passage to become a star in the music industry. And then it just seemingly gets worse from there. I mean, allegations of sexual assault, ranging from 1998 to October of 2021. And these men, in many cases have a similar story. One guy says, hey, 2008, I find myself, he said I worked for Echo, the clothing line, and Diddy had Sean John, and he said we were at the Macy's stockroom, the flagship store in Manhattan, and he says that he was pistol whipped by somebody who was with Diddy, and then that he was sexually assaulted and raped, and it's really, really ugly stuff. Diddy, for his part, last night came out, Shannon, and said, I never sexually assaulted anybody, man or woman, child or adult, but either he's the most targeted person in the world, or perhaps there's something to these allegations. He hasn't been convicted of anything at this point, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We know that there could be more victims on the way. That you mentioned Texas attorney.
I think there will be.
Yeah, Tony Busby, who says there will be more, of course.
Diddy's response came quickly, and when it did, it was explosive. In a fiery video posted on social media, Diddy directly addressed 50 Cent, calling out what he referred to as cheap shots and clown behavior. He didn't hold back, reminding 50 that their feud wasn't just about jokes, it was personal. Fans were left divided, with some applauding Diddy for standing his ground, while others encouraged 50 Cent to escalate the feud even further.
You kind of knew 50 Cent before he blew up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
50 was the type of dude that kept like a little, he kept like a little pad with him. He wrote everything down. You understand? Me and him caught the plane. We was going to Vegas. And I gave him my card. My business card was savoir-faire, security, management, and everywhere. You know what I mean? So 50 did a song about that. You know what I'm saying? And he put that in the song. And some years, about a year or so ago, not even a year or so ago, he said that when he dropped my name, he said, yo, I got the savoir-faire, I got that from Big Gene. He been trying to tell y'all about this puff shit years ago. But 50 was the type of dude that if you knew he was with you, he was with you. Even back then, he had your back whether you was security,
or whatever you did, if he was with you, he was with you. And that's what you gotta love about him. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta question his loyalty, you know what I'm saying, on some fight shit, or if you in a situation. Cause he going out.
Well, I guess you were hanging around him or knew him, right before he got shot.
Well, what happened is that I had got some information. 50 came to my house. I tried to fit him on a vest, but I'm like, at the time I was like a 3X. And 50 was like a large, you know what I'm saying? So he couldn't really fit the vest, but I gave him a cover to try to tell him, because he had some pads, some vest pads. So I just told him what the situation was that I knew. And told him he had to watch himself because those cats was gonna come at him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah. And he was supposed to be going to Cancun. And I told him, if you come to Cancun, I got you, because I used to be down there doing security at Daddy-O's. You understand? And I had people down there that I knew that was from Puerto Rico, and they was working down there, so they should make sure when I hit the island, anything and everything I needed, I could get it right there on the island. You understand? They work directly with the syndicate. So 50 was supposed to come down there to do a show, and he didn't make it because they had shot him up. I don't know if he was coming in the first place, but he was supposed to, because he was paid half the money to come down there to perform How to Rob an Industry Cat.
And when was the next time you seen him after that?
The next time I seen 50 after that was at Jack the Rapper. He had blew up. Man. He was like, he was this dude and everything like that. And I was sitting we was in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting by myself, just chilling, and he had his whole entourage with him. He came directly over to me. He like, yo, Gene. I was like, yo, what up, Fifth? I said, what up, 50? He said, what's up, man? He said, yo, put his hand out to me and grabbed my hand. He said, yo, they can't stop what God got planned. Went on about his business. And then he blew up crazy.
Diddy revealed that he was especially upset by 50's comments because they targeted sensitive personal and legal issues. While Diddy has always been a master at controlling his public image, 50's roast stripped away the usual veneer of untouchability that surrounded him. For Diddy, this wasn't just about his reputation, it was about respect. And when respect is on the line, Diddy plays to win.
50 going so hard at Diddy with the documentaries, and what did he do to 50 that made him hate him so much, man? That's crazy.
Well, I think it's just, you got to look at it like this. 50 was writing a lot of shit that made a lot of money for Diddy. And he knew back then in the day, he didn't know what he know now, but Diddy was robbing him. You understand? Bringing those kids in, say, yo, here, write this verse for me, man, for this, stuff like that, and giving them $5,000, you understand? Or $10,000, and you making $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe $2 million off of it, or $1 million, whatever the case may be. See, people call that good business. That's not good business. That's taking a person's talent, using it for your own self-indulgence, and not giving him what it's worth. When you could have been teaching these kids, you could have been helping these kids, and maybe these kids would have been helping you at the point you are right now. So, if that's the case, he have every right. But 50 is doing this for the culture. You understand? If it's going to be told, he going to have it, and it's going to be told the right way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 50, he go hard on Diddy, man. It's constant on his Instagram. It's kind of, it's pretty entertaining to see him be so passionate about his hate for Diddy.
Listen, how many of your enemies you love?
50 Cent doubled down on his antics, taking to Instagram to share memes mocking Diddy's reaction. One post, in particular, featured a parody of Diddy's iconic Ciroc ads, with 50 turning the luxury brand into a punchline. Fans couldn't get enough, spreading the memes far and wide, while Diddy was reportedly seething behind the scenes.
About none of them boys. He don't give a fuck about Louisiana. Because I tell you one thing, the second that Curtis got down there, right before me and my son were separated from each other, we went home for a visit. And the fishing hole that we went to, where fish are normally jumping, all of a sudden died. There was nothing out there. You could smell the poison in the water, which of course would irrigation, which of course would bring storms around. You know, you gotta like multimillionaires when they start creating tragedies to pretend to be heroes for. Why did Curtis Jackson lie to everybody? Why doesn't Curtis Jackson tell people that he has a house in Carrollton, and he's had a house in Carrollton for over 7 years? That he comes down here, getting a lay of the land, hiring private investigators to follow people around. Why didn't he tell anybody that Millennium Studios, which is now G-Unit Studios, was already there? Why is he pretending like he built it from the ground up? He didn't. He bought it. I know Millennium. I used to go there all the time.
It did exist.
Yeah, I know. So why did he lie to everybody? Why did he tell everybody his studio was going to be in Texas? Why did he keep it so quiet? Why didn't nobody in Shreveport know that he was making such a large acquisition? There would have to be some kind of paperwork there. It's almost as if that sale happened overnight. Not even anyone in the clerk's office knew about it, and I would know. I know the clerk. That's my town.
Yeah, you be in Shreveport.
Those are my people. Yeah. What is it with all of these pretenders? And now they got an even bigger one named Curtis Jackson. They should check the EPA report since he's been there and the toxic waste he's been allowing to be dumped around the property of Millennium Studios for cheap cash. And I'm not saying allegedly, Curtis. I know what you've been doing. You don't get no about what happens to those people in that town, but I do. I love the people in that town. I just wonder how you like that man I sent you. Because he really didn't think you was gonna go for him. You, Curtis. You better do right by Shreveport, or I'm gonna let everybody know that Diddy Do Wop Bop ain't the only taste you got.
So, just to switch gears.
Curtis. I'm sick and tired of him. I'd have more respect for him if he came out the closet.
It seems like...
Because he's a lot more Bogart than Brooklyn.
It seems like 50 Cent is trying to take down Diddy.
No. He's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out the way so he can run it. And the truth is, I ain't mad at him. I just don't trust him. Because the truth is, he would just be another kind of monster in another kind of way. He don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know that they won't admit. Which is why when that C&D came out, he took all of that Diddy shit down. Because of his tape. Say. I just wish, listen to me, make you no mistake about it. 50 is pure hip hop, pure MC. And he'll, just like Mike Tyson. Does every time Mike Tyson stuck his makes him any less the killer that he is in the ring? See, and I think that's the problem that people don't understand when it comes to this hypersexuality in hip hop and masculinity. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the archetypes and everything that they built on are built around Roman soldiers, Greek soldiers who use butt breaking as a way to trauma bond with each other so that they would kill for each other on the field. You got to think about it. Real soldiers back in those days, they didn't spend a lot of time around women. Women were something that happened or something that you did to have babies with. But most of your time was spent with the men in the field. Y'all saw the movie. Did anybody